Thanks very much, Andre. We're joined now by a special guest, the Twins beat writer for The Athletic, Dan Hayes, who just recently wrote an article about the Twins system and how quickly it has, let's say, rebounded and is once again looked at as one of the elite in all of baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you go through the draft and you add Trevor Larnach to the team, and you've already got about a top 10 system because three of your guys there are probably towards the top: Royce Lewis, Alex Kirilloff, and Brusdar Graterol, a guy who kind of started low in the system this year, but he throws 100. He's got good secondary stuff. All of those guys are having great years. Everybody's excelled throughout the whole system. Lewis has obviously jumped up, and he's now a top 10 prospect. Jim Callis from MLB.com even mentioned he might be as high as number 4 right now. You could argue him there. So you throw those guys in with this group that they've added at the trade deadline, and you've got a huge, great system right now.
When you look at those guys, Lewis, a #1 pick, Kirilloff, a #1 pick, Gordon, a #1 pick. You mentioned Larnach, the #1 pick this year. How much did the trade deadline increase the depth within this organization?
That's a huge difference from them. The Twins had a good system already, but when you throw 11 bodies in, and what they did a really good job of is they got guys that have a high ceiling, and they got guys who they kind of know what they're going to be. They got Luke Raley, they got Chase DeJong, who they basically know you're going to get to the majors, and they're going to be at least this kind of player. But then you got guys like Alcala, and you got a guy, Gilberto Celestino from the Astros, I believe, but both of them are very high ceiling guys. Could be huge stars. So what they did was a good mix of, we got these guys, we know where they're going to be, but we potentially got these stars. And when you throw those 11 bodies into an already good system, you've given yourself a lot of currency in case you want to make that big trade going forward, and that's a good place to be with all this young talent.
Let me be clear, when you read these prospect rankings, they're not predicting who's going to be the next guy to make it to the big leagues. It's who will have the biggest impact once they arrive. Royce Lewis is still a couple of levels away, but he sure looks like when his time comes, he'll be a star.
Yeah, he's a fast riser. The big question is he a shortstop or not? But he's shown a lot of signs that he can stick there this year. I think people have been surprised with how much progress he's made at that end. He's also had more power than people thought. People looked at him as maybe a 10 home run guy. He's looking like 15, 20 potentially. He's really raw at the plate. He's made some big gains. There's still a little bit of swing and miss in there, but it's something that they've worked with him on, and they're very happy with the progress he's made.
A lot of these are position players. You mentioned this name already in Brusdar Graterol, one of the top pitching prospects in the organization. And I know for years everybody looked at the Twins as a team that was the old pitch to contact, or velocity is a luxury. This guy flies in the face of that kind of wisdom. This guy can bring it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that stepping up there. I mean, we've seen it with Kyle Gibson this year, more strikeouts. We've seen a lot more getting away from pitch to contact this year, and Graterol definitely exemplifies that. I mean, again, he can touch triple digits. He's got secondary stuff. He's throwing it all for strikes. They're taking him on this slower path. It's sort of like what they did with Fernando Romero, where they build him up slowly. They don't want to blow him out because he's such a big prospect. And I think that you'll see him and hear much more about him next year. I mean, he's only thrown about 50 innings this season, but it's been very good. And honestly, he's been exactly what they hoped he'd been.
Dan, thanks very much for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me.
It's Dan Hayes. You can read his stuff on the Twins on a daily basis on The Athletic.